Hello, my name is Lucas, this is A Bit of Lit, and I'm here to talk about the hacker and the state, cyber attacks, and the new world normal of geopolitics. This is written by Buchanan, and it is a horrifying book. I'm looking at it on my Kindle right now. It is very good. It came out last year, I believe, and its central premise is even scarier than the man I've been reading about for the last couple of weeks in Adolf Hitler. I read this book for Nonfiction November and am enjoying this radical change from reading a biography to reading about more modern geopolitical nightmare scenarios. This has a lot to do with how cyber attacks and cybersecurity as a whole, and all things related to that, inform and shape geopolitics today. Whether it is spying or making cyber attacks or destabilizing a certain kind of atmosphere, whether in a cyber attack. And that could be a company, that could be a political institution, or it could be a country, on some level of the country, some aspect of the country. It's very good. It makes a very convincing argument, and it is terrifying. But what is really, really cool about the book is that not only does it give you clear-cut modern examples of things that America has done, largely known about thanks to Edward Snowden releasing information into the public, whether it's part of the Five Eyes sort of operation with Australia, New Zealand, Canada, and the United Kingdom, with these these cables that transfer information, and having that kind of digital infrastructure to spy on, and how the NSA piggybacks on a whole bunch of things. You know the story. Or if it's different attacks by America to Iran, or Iran to Israel, or Russia to Ukraine, or America, or Chinese attacks, or digitally. It covers a whole gamut of different operations in the digital sphere, completely invisible to the eye, so to speak, damage that can be done through lines of code. There's stories about, of course, the 2016 election and the DNC hack and everything about Podesta. There's an attack on an Israeli institution. There's an attack on Saudi Arabia's oil company that it discusses and goes into great detail about how and why, what the purpose of this was. It goes into the purpose of all of these. There's more information about other Russian attacks in Ukraine, and it really helps you understand just how sort of fragile things feel. At least it made me feel like very fragile, because everything in my life that I know of relies heavily on digital infrastructure. This is an example. But not just that. I mean, supply chains rely on digital infrastructure and cybersecurity and information technology, and these are incredibly important. Yeah, really sort of opened my eyes to how important and it's very creepy in a way and disturbing. And that's all I've got to say about that, really. There's lots of really key critical examples. Oh, another country that there's a very interesting story about how North Korea, well, uh, hacked into the Sony president's emails and did some other stuff when that movie with Seth Rogen and James Franco, The Interview, came out. And then there's another time where North Korea hacked a Bangladeshi bank to steal tremendous amounts of money. I mean, a lot of money. And it's just really incredible. I mean, like I said, it goes into spying, attacking, and destabilizing, gives clear-cut examples of these events, and sometimes it's not clear if it's a warning, if it's meant to be an attack, or if it's just a test, which is like the scariest part, I think, because the signs are not always clear on that aspect. What's really great about the book as well is that it will show these modern examples. Most of them, again, come from the last 6 years, a few of them at least within the last 20. But it will also give really great examples of the past. Before digital infrastructure was such a ubiquitous thing, largely pointing to a lot of time periods, like in World War II. Talks about the Japanese military attaché to the Nazi regime and his role in being there with the Nazis and sending back information as a spy, basically, to Japan, though he was very welcome by the Nazis. Talks about, you know, how the Germans tried to send a message to Mexico during World War I to go to war, and they would get a few states back from America. Also, how the 2016 election in America is not the first time that America's had outside influences affecting its own elections. Again, pointing back to a time in World War II where the British wanted someone who was a little more in their favor before America joined the war, I guess. It's really, really good about showing this connection. Also talking about cryptography and Caesar's methods of sending messages, and how the founding fathers also had to find cryptographic ways to send messages. There's all kinds of these really interesting parallels. There's even a reference to the video game Mass Effect and these dealers in secrets, shadow brokers. That's kind of cool. Anyway, it's very well written and really fascinating and really gets you thinking about these things, and you can see parallels to the past, which is great. Really helps ground everything in the terrifying dystopia that we live in, I suppose. That's all I've got to say. Very cool book. I highly recommend it. Thank you.